from Nurture Talent Academy. I am the founder of Nurture Talent, and we are happy to share that since the beginning of Nurture Talent in January 2010, we have reached over 10,000 participants in our workshops. We have conducted our training programs in 68 cities, and these have been online, offline as well as mobile programs. Our objective is to help 1,000 ventures start and generate 20,000 jobs in the next 3 to 5 years. I am very sure that all our attendees who are welcome for this session will take all the benefits and try to achieve the objectives in their personal lives to be an entrepreneur and do it successfully. I am pleased to introduce our guest expert today, who is Mr. Vikas Girdhar. Vikas is an engineer from KNIT Sultanpur and a management graduate from Indore. He has been a well-traveled and well-experienced person. I will request Vikas to give a brief introduction and take over the session. Yes, Vikas, you are welcome.
Thanks, Amit. Dear friends, good evening. About myself, I am, as Mr. Amit just shared with you, I am an engineer by background. I did my mechanical engineering way back in 1990. Then I did job for 4 years in different companies like EMA India, Electronica and Larsen and Toubro. But I was trying desperate to do MBA. So the year I got everything cleared, written tests, GD interviews, everything, I left my full-time job with L&T and went to do the full-time course in marketing from Indore. After completing my MBA, I was again in the job, and from last 2 years I am heading sales and marketing in a 500 crores company called DCM Engineering. This is located near Chandigarh, around 50 kilometers from here, and we are doing business with the leading automotive companies in the country. So I will take you now through my presentation, which is mainly about how to develop new business with the automotive OEMs and with other OEMs as well. So we will see who are called OEMs, which companies are OEMs. OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturers. The companies like Maruti, Hyundai, Tata Motors, Honda, Toyota, those who buy products for making their cars or trucks or tractors to sell in the market, they are called auto OEMs. OEMs can also be in other areas, in other industries as well. The companies like Dell, Nokia, Samsung, Motorola, they are also OEMs. Similarly, companies like Xerox, Canon, again who are buying parts to manufacture their finished product to sell in the market, they are also OEMs. So our presentation will focus on how to develop new business with such OEMs. In this presentation, we will see in detail how to understand your business, how is it important. Then we will focus on understanding business of OEMs, that is, know your customers. We'll also focus on researching market opportunities and how to generate RFQs, that is request for quotations. We'll see in detail how to communicate in the business language, how to make presentations, how to deliver them. Then we will see the finer points of the negotiations so that you are able to tilt the result in your favor. And finally, it is closing the deal and doing the after sales service. So we will start from the first, but before we start, we will clarify our approach. We will have a three-pronged approach. The first step will be about researching the markets, market drivers, and the big trends in the market. The phase 2 is involved in preparing our business communication with the customer so that we are more effective and we know what are the right buttons that give you the right response, so that we press always the right buttons and we get the right response. And phase 3, we will be talking about the action in which we will be involved in personal selling. In personal selling, one of the most important things is listening. That's why listening and personal selling, that we will cover. So we'll start with the first, research. Before we research the markets, we need to understand our own business. So who are your customers? Why do they buy from you? When do they buy? How do they buy? Where do they buy? And the customers who are not buying from you, why are they not buying from you? The person has to understand this very clearly, and once he knows these, he is better equipped to attack only those customers which he feels can be served by his company. The why the customers buy from you is important. What kind of benefits you can give to him. Today the customers or the OEMs look for quality, cost, delivery. Where are you strong? Once you have got that research done, you can focus your message accordingly. When do they buy? What kind of seasonality is involved? Today we are selling products to the tractor markets. We know the tractors are sold in certain seasons. In certain seasons when the crops are ready to be sold in the market or are just sold, the farmers are having plenty of disposable income and then they buy. So in your products, in your markets, you need to understand this factor also. How do they buy? Whether the OEMs always buy against the schedules, and what is their process? OEMs don't buy if they see a product only good in cost. They are having different people involved in their buying process. So their buying process needs to be understood. Where do they buy? Many times the OEMs research the new suppliers in the exhibitions. I'm just giving an example, Auto Expo, in which the B2B is also happening, where the companies which are supplying to auto OEMs, they are displaying their products, and the buying community is also visiting, and they do see who could be the potential suppliers. And why do they not buy is another important aspect. Is it because of your company's reputation? Is it because of the perception that you are costly or you are less reliable? The customers are not buying. Once you are clear about these things, you will be able to have the right response and you can accordingly change your strategy. The next slide about the researching is to research your customers. Who are the end customers? Researching has to happen beyond your direct customers. Direct customer could be a buyer, it could be a user of the product, it could be that the person who can influence, influencer. So we need to understand very clearly who are the buyers, who are the users, who are the influencers, and how that impacts the entire process. You need to research also in great depth the macroeconomic factors, how the macroeconomic factors affect the market, how is it affecting the demand of the product of your customers or the OEMs, and what kind of trends are evident. So which are the growth drivers affecting the demand, same thing what I just said, and how are you predicting the future of your OEM customers? Do you think they will be growing because of the growing demand? Do you think that it will be slowed down in the next couple of years because of the external environmental factors? That research has to be very thorough, and we will see in detail also about this. If you see this next slide, in which I am talking about the growth drivers for the passenger vehicles. As per our technical language, we include cars in the passenger vehicles. We also include sports utility vehicles called SUV, like Scorpio, Bolero, or Innova, etc. in this. Plus there is MPV, that is multi-purpose vehicles. Now if you see the growing demand in this, largely we can see the drivers are rising incomes and young population. The incomes are increasing, the population is pretty young, and they do have lot of disposable income available with them. So overall they are going to buy more cars in the future. Similarly, greater availability of credit and financing options are there, which again improves their disposable income, and the youngsters today are inclined to spend now and save later. Similarly, there are strong growth in exports. Now once you understand these drivers, you can predict how the situation could be in future for your kind of OEMs for which you are going to supply. Another slide on this, you can see in the passenger vehicles the rising incomes, how the rising incomes is changing the number of people who will be going for your end product. That could be passenger vehicle, that is a car. Here if you see the graph, I talk about these seekers which were having annual income in between 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs. In 2005 there were 5 million households, but in 2025, means in next 20 years, they are growing from 5 million households to almost 55 million households. Now this is the bracket, or this is the household who will be needing cars and who are the right material, who will be making the first time entry into the buying a new car. This is heavy growth segment which is being shown. Similarly, you can see the deprived annual income people having numbers less than 90,000 at present will further fall down to somewhere around 10 million households by in another 20 years. So such kind of statistics help you in understanding which are the positive growth drivers for your end customers. Similarly, if you see the current situation, there are certain negative growth drivers also, like the rising fuel cost, and in between the interest cost was increasing, though just now RBI has started showing the opposite trend. Similarly, I am showing you one more slide onto this growth drivers of commercial vehicles, that is the trucks. Here if you see, the growth drivers are improvement in road infrastructure, growing industrial and agricultural production, increase in overall freight and passenger movement. Then there is increased substitution of three-wheelers by one wheel to by one tonnage vehicles. If you see the next graph here, which is attached to it, the LCV segments is growing consistently in this particular area. This is 1 ton vehicles and they are replacing the three-wheelers. This tells us how the opportunities are going to come in future and who are the customers who will be needing the product for these vehicles. So the research should
I
show
think before
great
we go ahead,
opportunities for you.
yes, Vikas, I think before we go ahead,
Yeah.
let us take a quick break at this point of time, and if our audience members have any queries, we can take them up. And I request all
Yeah,
our
sure.
audience members, this session has been brought by Nurture Talent Academy, and Vikas has more than 15 years of experience working with all the large automotive industry companies, and dealing with sales and marketing, operations, production. So any questions if you have in the area of new business development, you can address to Mr. Vikas. You can raise your hand, which is an icon just next to your name, and if you wish you can also type down your query and I will be happy to read it for you. So I'll just take a quick 30 seconds break at this point of time. Any of you who wishes to ask any question to Vikas related to your venture, related to what we have covered till now, please do so. And in the meanwhile, I'll request Mr. Vikas if you can play the slides again. Some of our audience members have joined a few minutes late, and for their benefit, if you can quickly play the slides so that they can understand the flow of our presentation. Okay.
Okay.
Any audience members has any question? Nishant, Utpal, Vaibhav, if you have any questions, please speak now. Yes, I will just wait for another 30 seconds and then we will continue. And Mr. Vikas, if you can please play the slides once more.
Sure.
So,
So, this is about our presentation today. What we are going to discuss is how to develop new businesses for the OEMs or original equipment manufacturers. Here we will see, we'll try to understand our business first. We'll then do the research on understanding the business of OEMs and how to research the market opportunities. Then we'll discuss about generating RFQs with the OEMs, how to design our business communication in order to be effective max, how to do the negotiations, how to close the deal, and after sales service.
okay, good. So
We
I
will
think,
follow.
Mr. Vikas, we can continue. There are no questions from the audience side. And if there are any questions, friends, you can speak to us and we'll take the session ahead. So, Mr. Vikas, we can continue to the next points.
So shall I do the briefing once again, or shall I go to the slide where I left?
No, we can start from the slide where we left.
Okay. Thanks, Amit. So I am resuming. I was discussing that the research about our business and about our customers, about the macroeconomic environment will help us in understanding what are the new opportunities coming up, which are the new entrants in the business. For example, Daimler is going to launch Bharat-Benz trucks in the country. So they are going to require many different items for their products. Similarly, Ford is going to start their new engine manufacturing plant in Sanand, and Hyundai is planning to set up a new diesel engine manufacturing facility in Chennai. These kind of new entrants in the business help us. They are in the need of new products in the market, and that is the right time to approach them, where you can generate inquiries for your requirements. Further, we need to understand how is market getting segmentized and what are the emerging and evolving trends. You must have been hearing a lot about the growing disparity between the petrol prices and diesel prices, because of which the diesel engines are in big demand. So the trend is the cars are getting shifted from petrol cars to diesel cars. Similarly, there is a clear-cut trend. In the next slide, you can see the CV tonnage trends. Over the last 10-12 years, the higher tonnage vehicles are growing. This green area, if you see, this belongs to 16-tonner to 35-tonner trucks. So this segment is increasing, whereas the segment which belongs to 12 to 16 ton, the orange one, is decreasing. That shows the trend, and you can see that which particular customers you should be approaching, because where there is a growth, there will be a bigger demand. Similarly, in the second graph, that is small commercial vehicles, there is a very clear cut trend of the orange. You can see the orange segment belongs to LCVs up to 3.5 ton. This segment is growing at a rapid pace of 18% plus, and hence they are demanding more products. So these customers, if you are targeting, it will be the customers are looking for the suppliers here. Such kind of trends analysis helps you in targeting the right business. Now the next phase we are going to talk about is the preparation. How to generate RFQs. This RFQ generation is an important step where you are going to approach the potential customers who are either launching new products or who are facing extreme growth and they are expanding their capacities. So you need to make contact with the right person there. You have to do an in-depth analysis of the product needs. Why they are buying that particular product? Is it for the capacity expansion? Is it for the new product? Is it for the existing product facing a lot of quality issues or other problems from their existing suppliers? Once you have understood the need, accordingly you can communicate your message well and design your proposal on those lines. So you need to understand the motivators of man. Man we call the person who is having money, authority and need. The buyer, influencer and the user. As I said earlier, these three persons in industrial buying are always different. The buyer will be different from the user and user will be different from the influencer. Influencer are typically from the quality team of the company with OEM and user is the production people and buyer is mainly the purchasing guy. So once you have understood that what are their motivators, accordingly you can design your message well. And another important factor in this is you need to understand what are their implicit and explicit needs. Explicit could be needing another supplier, explicit need could be saving on the cost, explicit need could be having a better quality product. But the implicit needs could be like this, that I need to impress my boss that I am able to get a great deal with this new supplier. So we need to understand very clearly the implicit and explicit needs of the buyer. The next slide we will understand the business communication. In business communication, one of the most important aspect is your personal communication. How are you able to relate well with the buyer, with the company with whom you are going to discuss the future business? So your presentations, your personal upbringing, your the communication skills, everything matters at all. So you need to understand that it is the personality that impacts the decision maker most. In case you are not able to leave a good impression on the minds, of course they will be too resistant to go ahead for the further business dealings. Now about your proposal, you need to divide your proposal into two parts, the technical portion and the commercial portion. The technical is definitely going to focus more upon to the about the nitty-gritties of the product, how the product is going to eliminate the current problems of your buyers that you have to highlight here. What are the technical superiority your product is having over your competition? How the technology of your manufacturing methods is better over your competitors, that we need to highlight here. And of course in the commercial portion you are going to discuss about the cost, about the terms of the business and other things. So then you will move on to making your presentation that is able to get the response that you are looking for. We'll see the presentation making in more detail. A typical process of the presentation is like you have to get, we call it ADA model, that is attention, interest, desire and action. Now in the attention portion you need to understand the audience who are sitting there. I will give you an example where I learned a lot. I went to Tata Motors Jamshedpur and of course my research was not complete at that particular time, and the moment I was asked to give a presentation, there were around 25 people in the room and all were general managers and above. I started my presentation and before I could start I was thrown a question. The question was like this: what is the maximum tonnage of forging press you are going to put? Because my research was not complete, because I have not understood the audience so well, I simply answered straight away, this is going to be less than 6,000 tons. And in next 5 minutes, I was seeing the half of the audience left because they were not interested in any product which is less than that tonnage. They were needing everything much more than that 20,000 ton they were expecting. So what I found, if the research is not complete, we will not be able to the audience with what they are looking for. If I would have done the research and I was knowing that they need 12,000 ton products kind of machines, I could have answered my message in a different way. I could have said, gentlemen, we are at present starting with 6,000, but definitely we have got the plans to go up to 12,000 ton. And then it will be better than I could have shown them my products and the future plans as well. So in your presentation, then you are going to cover the infrastructure facilities what you are having in detail, and here you need to highlight how your infrastructure is able to give you the products of better quality, better cost, and where you can meet the consistently the delivery requirements of the customers. Everything whatever you are communicating about infrastructure needs to show that you have the capabilities to deliver the results. Capabilities in terms of the delivering the right quality at the right cost and on time delivery. Finally, you will say more about your existing customers and what kind of products you are supplying to them. This phase is very important because the kind of customers you are supplying to will give more confidence to your potential buyer, that yes, this company can handle these kind of customers what I'm looking for. And then you can discuss in detail about your proposal and about the cost benefit analysis that your offer is having. Any more questions onto this, Samit? Hello?
I think we will take the questions at the end of the session.
Okay, no issue. Thanks. Then comes the next portion, that is action. This phase is again very important. As I said, here we will do a kind of personal selling. Personal selling is all about how good is your own love quotient. We call it like this, that how much you like yourself, how much you love yourself, everything gets reflected here. Of course, your knowledge is of immense importance, because when you are going to talk to the customer, he is not going to talk only about your product. He is not going to talk only about your manufacturing technology. He is going to talk about how do you feel about the growth of the industry, how do you feel what are going to be the future challenges, and to relate to him, to establish a good rapport with him, your knowledge, in-depth knowledge plays a vital role. But everything comes how much you love yourself. If you are in great love with yourself, you will be having a great confidence, and people love to buy from those who are confident. Nobody wants to buy from a person who is not at all confident about himself, about his product, about his company, about his technology. So personal selling, I feel, is everything about these two factors. Proceeding further, I have, if you see a small cartoon here, that the sales per 1 lakh words spoken is showing this line which is at the bottom most. Whereas the sales per 1 lakh words listened to is showing a much higher growth, much higher value. So what is more important is listening. And it is not only listening, it is empathetic listening, where you are asking questions and listening. When you ask questions, the customers are giving you the answers, and at that time your mind should be thinking fast to relate it, how the answers and how his problems which are coming out through his words, you can address to those problems. So empathetic listening is all about asking and listening. I'm stressing on this portion more because maximum people feel that selling is all about speaking, whereas it is exactly opposite. More you listen, better sales professional you are, better you will be able to understand where the shoe hurts most to the buyer, and then you can communicate that how your product, how your proposal can help him. then the message becomes more effective. And as you can see, effective communication, words only contribute 15% of what we communicate. So it is much beyond words that is required in communication, that is required in influencing your buyer towards your proposal. So continuing with this, you have to emphasize the portions that addresses explicit and implicit needs. Now you can see again a cartoon here. It is nice to meet you, tell me your name. But the man is saying, I have just what you need. He is more focused on giving him a solution to his problems. This is what will address the explicit and implicit needs. You cannot answer openly, you cannot suggest, you have to only handle it subtly, that how, if you will follow or if you will buy from me, how my product can help you in addressing your implicit requirements, implicit needs. During this process in which you are showing the benefits of your proposal, you need to certainly obtain the approval of the solutions what you are proposing. If you have proposed solution A, solution B, solution C, before you move on to solution B, you shall ask whether my solution A is helping you in solving your problems or not. Once he says yes, to some extent yes, it is helping, then you go to step B, then you go to step C. So this is how you will be able to build from scratch or from the bottom, and then leading up to a stage where the customer is able to say, yes, now this proposal helps me at least in meeting my existing requirements. Ask from him very clearly what are the next steps in buying cycle. Once you have taken his concurrence that your proposal meets his requirement, we need to close the deal. Before we close the deal, we need to understand if the buyer is satisfied, who else or what will be the next step in the buying cycle. Maybe then you are called into enter into the negotiations. Here you can see the quadrant that I win, you win is the best, where the deal happens. I win, you lose, I lose, you lose, I lose, you win. These are the deal breakers. But while negotiating, you need to spell out the important terms very clearly, like the payment terms, whether the customer will be paying you within 30 days, 45 days, 60 days or 90 days. You need to see the big picture, that you have to involve all other terms and conditions thoroughly. Obtain concurrence first for the terms which are less focused by buyer. Sometimes you may have all into selling a tool also to the customer before you start selling the product. So the tool cost itself is running into crores of rupees. You need to obtain his concurrence about the tooling cost. Are you ready to bear 5 crore rupees for the tooling? He says, no, that is too high. I cannot give you any tooling cost. So at that time you need to explain him the whole details, that why this tooling cost is important. Before we enter into further relationship, we need to settle this also first. And never forget the buyer's age. Buyers always want some kind of discount. So always keep some kind of cushion. Of course, the cushion should not be too big that you are keeping 25% or 30% margins. Keep a cushion of maybe 5% or 10% depending upon the market, depending upon the kind of buyer you are going to deal, because many times it happens that the customers, when they find that the offer is too expensive, they simply will not call you for further negotiations. So keep low margin here, but do keep a margin so that you can offer him the discount. Many times it is important and it is necessary to use hierarchy to exhibit that beyond this price I cannot go at all. Now I need the concurrence from the managing director of my company. I don't think I am having the authority to give you discounts beyond this level. At that time you need to involve your MD also into the role, and that shows that the price that you are offering is more has already reached its limits. In my last negotiation with my one customer in Pune, I went along with my MD, and my MD made a beautiful statement. He says the right price is that price at which both the customer as well as the buyer both feel that I have not got the best deal. So it is something like I also lost, the buyer is also feeling that he is lost, and both are still reaching to an agreement. It means that is the best price. He is also in his mind feeling that though there is something more I could get, but you are also feeling that I could have got a better price than this, but then that has become the optimum price. So closing the deal is important, where you are going to ask for the order or letter of intent and you have to ensure that all the terms and conditions are covered in detail, and never forget to sign the minutes of meeting before leaving the place, because it does happen that the customers also go back on their words. Whatever they are saying, until unless it is not clearly written and signed, don't expect that he is going to say the same thing in your next meeting. Today he may say that, okay, I will give you the payment in 30 days. Maybe next time he will say, no, no, I never said 30 days. It is 60 days. It is our standard terms and conditions. We can't change it for you. So it's better list down all the terms and conditions, write down everything, and then take his signature onto that. And then of course you have to do the follow-up for getting the purchase order at your end. So happy selling. Any questions, any doubts, we'll discuss. Amit?
Thanks a lot, Vikas. I think it has been a very, very insightful session for all of us, and I request all of our audience members to write down their questions in the questions window, or if they want, I can unmute all of you and we can have you speak the questions directly addressing to Mr. Vikas. So in fact, even before we could request for questions, we have one of the question from Mr. Vikas Grover. What is an efficient way to do research? Do you get good data for free? Are there some sources available? Vikas, if you can show some sources where to get good data and what are the various ways in which people can do research?
There are certain industrial associations, like in automotive industry, I can say it is Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturer, SIAM. They publish the data. Only thing is this, the company has to subscribe to get that data. And then of course there are huge number of magazines today getting printed onto this, like automonitor.com, Auto Monitor, Motor India. They publish all the data that is available on SIAM as well. And here there are good authors' opinion also about the future trends is available. Recently I was also facing this problem. I was not getting enough onto the tractor industry. So what I requested and what I did, I hired 2 IM graduates from Shillong and given them a project to understand the buying motives of tractor industry. So we can do those kind of research also when we require. But in case we need secondary data, enough information is published and available in the market.
No, we cannot. No, we can't.
Vikas, if you can tell us about a win-win deal, it will be great. Yes, Vikas, can
Win-win
you?
deal happens. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Win-win deal happens when you have researched it extremely well about the needs of the customers. You know that this particular customer is in the market for a quality product for which he is struggling. I will just give you an example here. Suzuki Powertrain India is a subsidiary of Maruti Suzuki, and they are in a great need of a diesel engine block. The diesel engine blocks are not available in enough numbers in the country. They are importing. And with the kind of dollar rates going up, the cost of imported item is also shooting up. So they are in great pain to get somebody to make the product and deliver it to them. So if somebody goes to them with this kind of proposal that I can give you the quality product what you are looking for within India with from my existing capacity, he is a simply a too much wanted supplier for them. So once you have got your research done very thoroughly, it is very easy to relate the solution what you are proposing with the need of the customer. And then it is a matter of only few rupees settlement to strike the win-win deal. And one again, your research needs to be more thorough, that what is the cost at which he is importing the component, and then even if you place it slightly at a higher than the Indian price, but the customer will be willing to give you the higher than the Indian similar components, because he is going to save a lot. Win-win result will be happening only once the research is thorough.
There is one more question that I would personally like to address you is, since a lot of us are beginning our journey as an entrepreneur, what is the perception among the large companies for a startup or a newly established organization? You have worked with companies which have been there for a few years, and you have worked with companies who have recently started their ventures. What has been your experience of this kind of a sales and marketing cycle?
I'll tell you, yesterday only I met a guy from Coimbatore who started his company in 2005. That is only 7 years back, and today he is the largest manufacturer of machined high value components to the automobile industry. I couldn't believe that within 5 years a person, 5 to 7 years person can grow from zero level to this scale, and that too he has become a brand name in the industry. Today Tata Motors or Maruti or you name a company, Cummins, they want to buy the products only from him. That kind of reputation is possible. It has got nothing to do with the startup or an established name. Startups also, with their single-minded focus on delivering the value to the customers, can achieve the results. Yes, I can suggest one thing, that more the product is, you can say, more the value you are able to give, the better and easier it will be for the OEMs to buy from you. Example what I want to give, instead of giving a final product, if you can give a part or a tool which requires intricate technology which can help him in solving his problems, that is better, rather than having a huge crores, 100,000 crore of setup and then trying to service the customer. It is better to have a small setup but which is addressing a very, very specific problem of the customer.
Vikas, there is one more question. In fact, I will unmute you, Vikas. Vikas Grover, would you like to speak your question? Yes, Mr. Vikas Grover, would you like to speak your question? Okay, so Vikas does not have a mic. So I will address. Yeah, I will address the mic. His question is, how do you shorten your sales cycle? There are $1 million deals, there are bigger sales cycles. So bigger the deal, bigger the sales cycle. And it is very risky and costly for a company in terms of uncertainty. So how can a company shorten the sales cycle?
Good question. It is very, very difficult. Today we cannot practically influence the sales cycle, we cannot influence the buying cycle of the OEMs. They have got their timelines very clearly defined. When they come to India, like I will give you an example of Daimler. When they started their venture in 2009, they were very clear that the product they are going to launch will be in 2012, and the next stage product will be needed in 2013, 2014. So whatever you may give the presentation, you can get their RFQs, but the process of their actual buying cannot start before that. So we need to have a very, very, you can say, good amount of patience to sell to these OEMs. It also depends upon the product that you are selling in the market. Some products do not require that kind of long cycle, but some products do require engine validation or the vehicle validation testing. So these validation tests itself take 6 months to 1 year kind of time. So there also we practically become helpless in case the product is of that nature.
Okay, great. There's one more question I would like to address to you is uh, in terms of B2B sales, how much does branding and marketing and advertising, does it have a role to play, especially in a business where a lot of decisions are taken by individuals who are as smart as you are on the seller side?
Obviously, I don't think too much branding and advertising can directly help, but yes, participating in the exhibitions like Auto Expo, it does help a lot. It speaks about the depth of that particular company, and here word of mouth plays a very important role. All the buying community in the automotive OEMs or in other OEMs also, they are knowing each other quite well, and if you are doing something well, you can always take the references from those buyers about the other potential customers. So instead of spending more onto that area, it's better to spend more in delivering the value.
Okay, great. So from the audience members, if we have any questions, then we can take them up. We'll spend the next couple of minutes before we close the session. I think it has been a very insightful session. And in the meanwhile, Mr. Vikas, if I can request you to play the slides once more, only the slides, and for the
Okay.
reference of our participants. Okay, just if we can quickly play the slides again. Okay. And in the meanwhile that is going on, I have one last question to you, Mr. Vikas. How do you see the role of social media in automotive sales and marketing business, or the role of, let us say, LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other social network? So how do you see the role of social
Uh,
networks in your business?
I think it is of great importance. I also use LinkedIn today to find out some technical problem solution which are related to my industry, and I put these questions to the people in Germany, UK and USA, and the guys are really very cooperative, and they offer the solutions which we don't know. I am finding the solutions for my technical problems today, but I don't think the day is far when the buyers will also be in this kind of community. They are linked to you, and they can be approached, and it is good place to do the prospecting. That is the first phase of reaching out to your potential customer.
Okay, great, Vikas. Thanks for your very insightful comments in this session. Any last thing would you like to share with our audience members today? Any last thing from your
It
experience,
was
from your life, anything that as a piece of advice you would like us all to carry?
My only advice is this, that you must like yourself a lot. You must be in love instead of with any other girl or lady or boy. First be in love with yourself, and then you will be really confident about yourself. It doesn't matter whether you know the 10 steps of the selling process or not, whether you have made a beautiful presentation or not. Everything matters is your confidence. Once you are confident about yourself, you can find out 10 solutions for your customers' potential problems. And that's what the customers today look forward to. So once again, I repeat, like yourself as much as you can, and then limit is absolutely not there in your dictionary. Thanks.
Okay, great, Mr. Vikas. I think that's a very beautiful way of summarizing your role and your responsibilities as a sales and business development manager and a marketing person. Uh, we'd like to close this session now. Thanks to all our audience members who have joined us today. This session has been brought by Nurture Talent Academy, and I will like to thank Mr. Vikas on behalf of Nurture Talent. Thanks, Mr. Vikas, for joining us today. I hope you had a good experience sharing your insights with our audience members, and thanks.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks, and thanks a lot to all our audience members. This is Amit Grover from Nurture Talent Academy. Wishing you all the best for your future journey. I hope to see all of you on the cover of Time someday as Entrepreneur of the Year. My best wishes for a great journey ahead. Good night and have a great year.